Little Lana and Rapunzel. One warm afternoon, little Lana was lying in the garden, watching the clouds drift slowly across the sky. "That one looks like a rabbit," she said. She pointed to another. "And that one looks like a giant cupcake." A soft breeze moved through the trees. Then something golden floated past her nose. Lana sat up. At first, she thought it was a piece of ribbon, but when she picked it up, she realized it was a strand of hair, a very long strand of golden hair. Lana looked around. The hair stretched across the garden path, slipped beneath the gate, and disappeared towards the woods. "Well," Lana said, "that is definitely unusual." She followed it, through the gate, past the little stream, between tall trees covered in green leaves. The farther Lana walked, the quieter the forest became. Then, in the middle of a sunny clearing, she saw something enormous. A tall stone tower. It had no visible door, no staircase, only one small window right at the top. And hanging from that window was the longest golden braid Lana had ever seen. "Hello?" Lana called. Nothing happened. "Hello?" A face appeared at the window. A girl with bright green eyes looked down. "Oh!" Then she disappeared. A second later, she appeared again. "Who are you?" "I'm Lana. Who are you?" "My name is Rapunzel." Lana looked at the braid. "Is all of that hair yours?" Rapunzel laughed. "Yes. That must take forever to brush. You have no idea." Lana giggled. "Why are you in the tower?" "I live here." "All the time?" Rapunzel nodded. "I like painting and reading up here. It's peaceful. But lately," she looked towards the forest, "I've started wondering what the rest of the world is like." Lana sat down beneath the tower. "What have you seen?" "Mostly what I can see from my window. Trees, birds, clouds, sometimes deer." "Have you ever been to the sea?" "No." "Had ice cream?" "No." "Jumped in a puddle?" "No." "Picked strawberries?" "No." Lana put both hands on her cheeks. "Rapunzel, we have a lot of work to do." Rapunzel laughed so loudly that 3 birds flew from a nearby tree. For the rest of the afternoon, Lana told Rapunzel about everything she loved. She told her about sand between her toes, about waves chasing her feet at the beach, about warm pancakes, about rainy days, about playgrounds, about the smell of flowers in spring. Rapunzel listened carefully. "What does the sea sound like?" "Whoosh," Lana said, waving her arms. "And what does snow feel like?" "Cold, but in a nice way, until it goes down your sleeve." Rapunzel giggled. "And ice cream?" "Very important." "Why?" "Because it's delicious." Rapunzel smiled. Then Lana noticed something behind her. The walls inside the tower were covered in paintings. "Did you paint all those?" "Yes." "Can I see them properly?" Rapunzel hesitated. "You would have to come up." Lana looked at the braid, then at the very tall tower, then back at the braid. "I have made better decisions." Rapunzel laughed. "Are you sure?" "No." Lana wrapped both hands around the braid. Slowly, carefully, she began to climb. Up and up and up. "Almost there," Rapunzel called. Finally, Rapunzel reached down and helped Lana through the window. Lana collapsed onto the floor. "I am never climbing hair again." Rapunzel burst out laughing. The room was beautiful. There were books everywhere, paintbrushes in little jars, cushions by the window, and paintings covering almost every wall. Lana walked from one to another. A blue lake, a field of lavender flowers, a snowy mountain, a little village, a green valley filled with strange blue flowers. "You've been to all these places?" Rapunzel shook her head. "I imagine them." Lana looked closer at the painting of the valley. The flowers were shaped like tiny stars. "Those are beautiful." "They're my favourite." "Have you ever seen one?" "Only from here." Rapunzel pointed to a small flower growing in a pot by the window. It was blue and shaped like a star. "A bird dropped the seed on my windowsill years ago. I planted it." Lana leaned closer. "So you painted an entire valley from one little flower?" Rapunzel nodded. "I always wondered where it came from." Lana smiled. "Maybe we can find out." Rapunzel became quiet. "Outside?" "Yes." "I've never been farther than this room." "That's okay." "What if I don't know what to do?" "You don't have to know everything before you start." Rapunzel looked out of the window. The forest suddenly seemed much bigger than before. "I think I'd like to try." Lana grinned. "Tomorrow?" Rapunzel took a deep breath. "Tomorrow." The next morning, Lana returned with a little backpack. Inside were 2 apples, a bottle of water, 2 biscuits, and one very important thing. "Ice cream?" Rapunzel asked hopefully. "No, it would melt." "Oh. But I promise we'll find some." Rapunzel lowered her braid. Lana climbed up. Then they worked together to make a safe rope ladder from strong fabric Rapunzel had stored in the tower. Slowly, carefully, Rapunzel climbed down. Her feet touched the grass. She froze. Lana waited. Rapunzel looked down at her bare feet, then wiggled her toes. "It tickles." Lana smiled. Rapunzel took another step, then another. She bent down and touched the grass with both hands. "So this is what it feels like." Then she ran. Across the clearing, around a tree, through a patch of daisies, she spun with her arms open. "Lana!" "What?" "The world is huge." "I know." "Why didn't you tell me?" "I thought you knew." They laughed until they could hardly breathe. Rapunzel picked up a pine cone, then a feather, then a smooth stone, then another stone, then another. "Rapunzel," Lana said, "you cannot take the whole forest home." Rapunzel looked at the things in her arms. "Are you sure?" "Pretty sure." Together, they followed a narrow path through the trees. Rapunzel stopped every few steps. She listened to birds. She touched moss. She dipped her fingers into a stream. She smelled every flower they passed. After a while, Lana noticed something blue beside the path. "Rapunzel!" Rapunzel hurried over. Growing beneath a tree was a tiny blue flower, shaped like a star. Rapunzel gasped. "It's the same one." They looked ahead. Farther along the path was another, then another, and another, a trail of tiny blue stars leading deeper into the forest. Rapunzel took Lana's hand. "Do you think they lead to the valley?" "There's only one way to find out." And together, they followed the flowers. The trail of blue flowers twisted through the forest. Rapunzel and Lana followed it over little bridges, beneath leafy branches, and around enormous old trees. As they walked, Rapunzel kept discovering new things. A butterfly landed on her shoulder. She stood completely still. "Lana," she whispered. "Yes?" "There is a butterfly on me." "I can see." "What do I do?" "Nothing." Rapunzel smiled so widely that Lana started laughing. A moment later, the butterfly fluttered away. "I think that might be my new favourite thing." "You've had about 12 favourite things today." "I have a lot of catching up to do." They continued walking until the path opened onto a hill. Rapunzel stopped. Below them was a wide green valley, and everywhere they looked, blue flowers. Thousands of them. Tiny star-shaped blossoms covered the grass like pieces of the sky had fallen to earth. Rapunzel stared. "My painting." Lana looked at her. "You imagined it?" Rapunzel slowly shook her head. "Not exactly." A flock of little birds flew overhead and landed among the flowers. One picked up a seed. Another carried a tiny blue petal in its beak. Rapunzel smiled. "The birds." "What?" "They must have carried the seeds to my tower." Lana understood. "And you saw the flower and imagined where it might have come from." Rapunzel looked around the valley. It was real. Lana shook her head. The valley was real, but you still imagined the rest. Rapunzel smiled. "I like that better." They walked down the hill. In the middle of the valley stood a tiny cottage surrounded by gardens. An elderly woman was watering plants outside. When she saw the girls, she waved. "Hello there!" "Hello," Lana called. Rapunzel whispered. "Do people usually just talk to strangers?" "Sometimes." "Interesting." The woman smiled at Rapunzel. "You found the blue stars." Rapunzel looked surprised. "You know them?" "Of course. They grow all over this valley." She picked one carefully and handed it to Rapunzel. "They're called sky bells." Rapunzel held the flower gently. "I've had one growing by my window for years." "Then a bird must have delivered it." Rapunzel and Lana looked at each other and smiled. "I knew it!" The woman invited them to sit outside. She gave them lemonade and warm bread with strawberry jam. Rapunzel took one bite. Her eyes widened. "This is incredible." Lana nodded. "Wait until ice cream." After their snack, the woman showed them the garden. Rapunzel asked question after question. "How long do flowers take to grow?" "Some weeks, some months." "Do they come back every year?" "Some do." "Can you grow them anywhere?" "If you learn what they need." Rapunzel looked thoughtful. "I think I'd like to learn." "You should," the woman said. "You seem very curious." Rapunzel smiled. Nobody had ever described her that way before. They thanked the woman and continued exploring. They climbed a hill. They watched ducks swimming in a pond. They found a tiny village where people were setting up stalls for an afternoon market. Rapunzel's eyes grew wide. "So many people." Lana took her hand. "We can go slowly." Rapunzel nodded. They walked through the market together. One person sold flowers, another sold bread, another painted little wooden toys. A musician played a gentle tune. A child waved at Rapunzel. Rapunzel waved back. Nothing dramatic happened. Nobody stared for long. Nobody expected anything from her. She was simply Rapunzel, and she liked that. Then Lana stopped suddenly. "Rapunzel!" "What?" Lana pointed. A small cart stood at the edge of the market. A sign above it read, "Ice cream." Rapunzel gasped. "This is it!" "This is it!" They each chose a cone. Rapunzel took one careful lick. She froze. "Well?" Rapunzel looked at Lana. "This may be the greatest invention in the history of the world." "I told you." They sat beneath a tree and ate their ice cream. Rapunzel looked around. Children were playing. People were chatting. Someone was walking a tiny dog. The musician had started another song. Rapunzel smiled. "I thought going outside would feel like one huge adventure." "Doesn't it?" "It does, but not in the way I thought." "What do you mean?" "I thought everything would be enormous and exciting." She looked at her ice cream. "But some of the best things are tiny." "Like what?" "Grass under your feet." She pointed to a dog. "That." The dog sneezed. Lana laughed. "Flowers." Rapunzel looked at her cone. "Definitely this." "And?" Rapunzel smiled at Lana. "Having someone to discover it with." As the sun began to lower, Lana and Rapunzel walked back towards the tower. Rapunzel carried a little basket of skybell seeds from the valley. When they reached the clearing, she looked up at the tower. It looked different now. Not frightening, not sad, just familiar. "Are you going back up?" Lana asked. Rapunzel thought for a moment. "Yes." Lana looked surprised. "You are?" Rapunzel nodded. "I like my room. I like my books. I like painting by the window." She smiled. "But now I know I don't have to stay there all the time." Together they climbed back up using the rope ladder. Rapunzel placed the skybell seeds carefully beside her paints. Then she looked at her old paintings, the sea, the mountains, the village, the blue valley. "I used to paint places because I wondered what they might be like." "And now?" "Now I can visit them." She picked up a fresh sheet of paper. "What are you going to paint?" Rapunzel thought. Then she began. She painted herself and Lana sitting beneath a tree, 2 ice creams in their hands, a tiny dog nearby, and blue flowers everywhere. Lana laughed. "You forgot the butterfly." "Oh!" Rapunzel added one. "Perfect." Over the next few weeks, Lana and Rapunzel had many adventures. Some were big. They visited the sea. Rapunzel screamed when the first wave touched her feet. Then she spent the rest of the afternoon trying to chase it back. Some adventures were small. They picked berries. They read beneath a tree. They planted skybell seeds around the tower. Rapunzel learned that she loved baking. She did not love muddy shoes. She loved swimming. She was terrible at skipping stones. And she discovered that climbing trees was much harder than Lana had made it look. One evening, they sat together at the tower window, watching the sunset. The sky turned pink and orange. Rapunzel rested her chin on her hands. "Lana?" "Yes?" "Do you think there will ever be a day when I've seen everything?" Lana thought carefully. "No." Rapunzel smiled. "Good." "Why good?" "Because then there will always be something new to discover." Below them, the first skybell flowers had begun to bloom around the tower. Tiny blue stars. Rapunzel looked down at them. For years, one little flower had made her wonder about the world. Now she understood something. You don't have to know exactly where a path will lead before you begin walking. You don't have to see the whole world in one day, and you don't have to stop loving where you came from just because you are ready to explore somewhere new. Sometimes courage is a giant adventure, but sometimes courage is much quieter. Sometimes it is simply saying, "I wonder what's out there," and then taking the first step to find out. Rapunzel looked at Lana. "What should we discover tomorrow?" Lana smiled. "I have an idea." "What?" "Have you ever jumped in a really big puddle?" Rapunzel's green eyes sparkled. "No?" Lana grinned. "Oh, you are going to love it." Rapunzel laughed, and as the two friends looked out at the enormous world beyond the tower, Rapunzel couldn't wait to discover what tomorrow would bring. Because now she knew that every new day could hold a little adventure. And the very best ones were only just beginning.